Vegas Runner, here to break down UFC 130. Yesterday we did two videos, gave out two picks. If you remember back UFC 129, I did three videos. We were able to sweep the card that night and did the same with the Strikeforce card before that. So we're on a nice run in MMA and want to keep it going for UFC 130. Funny thing is, I did two video picks yesterday after going back home, doing some more work, and talking to some guys that went to the press conference and gathered some good information. I was able to confirm two more bets, so I came back to pregame today and said, let's do some more videos and get that information out to our viewers. So thanks for joining us for another breakdown of UFC 130. We're going to break down Stann and Santiago. This is a really good fight, interesting fight at 185. Santiago is an ex-UFC guy. He went to Japan, had a lot of success, but he just didn't have that kind of success in the UFC. I believe it was in 2006 when he left the UFC after a 1-2 record. Went to Japan, totally different class of fighting, I think, of what he's going to see now that he's back at the UFC. I think the UFC, not putting down Japan, Pride I think was one of the best and toughest organizations, but now the money that they're able to make at fighting for a venue like UFC, I think we're getting the top guys. As you could tell, a lot of those Pride guys were coming over before it even closed down shop. With that said, I just think styles make fights, and I don't think the UFC is really in love with Santiago right now. And they're setting him up for a takedown here. I think he's going to be finished. I don't know if he's going to lose a contract, but this isn't a good matchup for him. I really like Stann at -135. I say get down on him now because he has that backing from fans. He's that American hero. He's that military man, you know. He's just someone you want to see win. More importantly, I think now he has the tools. His one weakness, let's tell it like it is his wrestling and his ground game. And Santiago, his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of his strengths. So in a grappling competition, I'd be all over Santiago, and this would be an easy bet to make. But in the octagon, it's not a grappling fight. It's a MMA fight. And more importantly, the one weakness that Santiago has is his jaw. 5 of his 8 losses have come by KO. So he just doesn't take a punch well. And if there's one guy at 185 that you don't want to be facing, if you don't take punch very well, is Stann. He's as big of a 185 as you're going to find, and he's got one of the biggest punches at 185. They say he's got the heaviest hands, and for someone like Greg Jackson, who now trains him, to come out and say that, I really have to give that some credence. Going to Greg Jackson, I think, was the best thing for someone like Stann coming from WEC. Just getting that elite level of training and just being around those elite level guys to train with. I mean, you're only as good as your training partners. And I think he's at the kind of gym where he's going to become so much more well-rounded. And I think we are going to start seeing more from him than just that one-dimensional striking. But I think that one-dimensional striking is enough in this kind of fight. His takedown defense is second to none. So I don't think he's going to have any trouble keeping this on their feet. I don't see Santiago being able to get this to the ground, using his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and working a submission. So this one's going to be standing, and when it stays standing, you got to give a huge advantage to Stann, even though many believe Santiago is the more technical boxer. Technique is huge, plays a big role, but Mike Tyson said it best. Everyone had a plan until they got hit. And if you can't take a punch, I don't care what kind of game plan you have, I don't care what kind of technical fighter you are, when you get hit, like Shane Mosley showed us a few weeks back by Manny Pacquiao when he claimed, I've never been hit so hard in my life, everything you have changes. the whole complexion changes. Your technique isn't going to help you much in that situation. So big thumbs up here for Stann. Like I said, Santiago, the only way he wins this fight is if he takes him to the ground. Even with the lack of wrestling skills, the takedown defense is there for Stann. He will keep this up on his feet. He will win this in knockout style or just punt an easy decision. If he doesn't knock him out with that glass jaw, then that simply means that Santiago was able to stay away from him. But staying away from him isn't enough to get you the decision. So either way, I advocate and I urge bettors to follow my wager and back Stann in this fight. So USA, get it done. Saturday night, bet Stann at -135. Get down now. That price should only go up. Don't forget, 2 videos done yesterday where I gave out 2 picks. 1 more coming after this. So there'll be 4 in all for us on Saturday night. Put that undefeated record on the line. Thanks for joining us. And till UFC 131, I'm out.